Hello, welcome back everyone. Now in today's session, we are going to discuss about a very unique problem that has been asked several times in Big Four organization, just like KPMG and PwC. If you are able to understand the concept behind this problem, then it will definitely help you in attaining a very good job with a higher package. Okay, so just let's begin with the problem and we will try to understand the concept behind each steps. Here we have a student table which is having three columns. Name is ID, student ID and department ID. ID is unique for all of these records, but student ID is not unique, similarly department ID also. Here you can see that student ID 1 is having a department ID of 105. 2, 3 and 4 is having null values for department ID. Similarly, going forward for student ID 11, it is having a value of 106 for department ID and following values are null. So what we have to do that we have to update department ID for all of these null record, but it should have a department ID of their minimum student ID values. Like just coming to an example, here you can see that the student ID 1 was having a department ID of 105. 2, 3 and 4 they are in same partition or in the same group. So we have updated department ID is 105 because the last department ID is 105. Similarly for 3 also and 4 also. But when we come to student ID 11, the department ID is 106. So what we have to update for student ID 12? 106. And the last one is 106 and so on. Okay. I hope so that you understand the problem statement clearly. So here I have just pasted the script so you can consume it and do the practice of the same question. It will definitely help you if you will do practice with me. So I am doing just a select star query from student details tables to understand what we have in data. Here you can see that we are having null records as discussed in the problem statement. So before going to the problem, here I want to introduce a concept that I've also mentioned in my last video. But if you haven't seen my last video, then go and watch that video. But here I'll also explain that concept because this concept will help you to solve the problem and understand the question more clearly. If I'll do select star from student detail tables, I'll copy this query 2 times. Here I am using count star and in below I am using count of department ID. Any guesses what we will get if I'll execute query 2nd and 3rd? Just think about that. How many records we will get in output? Okay, let's try. You can see that when I am using count star, I am getting 8 records. But when I am using count and the respective column name, then I am getting only 2 records. But why? Because count star will calculate all of these rows are present, either it is null or not null. But count column name, here department ID, will calculate only not null records. So this is the concept that you should be aware about. It is also an interview questions. Okay, now coming to solve this problem, what we want, if we can just do a count of all of this record, like one for the student ID 1 to 4 and moving forward for student ID 11 to 14, then it will definitely solve the problem. But how can we do this? Let's try count of department ID. Here I'll use the over order by student ID. I am just giving them name as CNT student. So just understand what we are doing here. If I'll execute this, what I'll get in output? Like for here all of these values are null. Therefore, we are getting count is 111, but here we are getting 2. But why? Because we have used over order by student ID. So what it is doing that is that it is creating a group of these records in one group and this records in another group. Okay, and sorting the data on the basis of student ID that we want. So we are having two buckets of data, one with count of student as 1 and second with count of student of 2. But what we want in output? We want, like for the null record, it should update it with last value of department ID. Like here it should be 105, 105 and 110 and 110. How can we do this? Any guesses? Just think about that. So what we're going to do is that we will reuse this query once again. So what is the concept behind that? If we want to reuse the query once again, correct, it is CTE. What is CTE? It is a common table expression. Okay, so I'm reusing my query once again. If I'll do select star from CTE, then what I'll get in output? Exactly same output. But what we want? Now we want the department ID should be updated with the minimum department ID. So we can use min function here with the department ID, and we will do the same approach as above. Here it is having a group of 111, it is having a group of 222. So over partition by count student. This will solve the problem or not? Just think. Wow, it has solved the problem, but how? So here what we did is that we have picked minimum of department ID. It is 105 and 110, and we did the partition on the basis of student, count student. So it is in one partition and it is in another partition. Perfect. So here by this approach we have solved this problem, but we will do some sort of modification. Like what we want student ID, and we want department ID new. Let's see. Yep, that's all we want. So in this problem what we have learned? We have learned about count. What is the difference between count star and count column name? How can we use CTE to solve this problem? And another way to use count. Might be you haven't seen this sort of thing. If you have, then please update in comments. And if you want a separate video that what is the functionalities behind that, then please drop a comment. I'll try to publish a separate video for this concept. And similarly for min also. I hope so that you understand this concept clearly. If you like this video, if you like the approach, then please like, subscribe and share with your friends. It will definitely motivate me to create more insightful videos for you. Thank you everyone.